Chapter 1: The Day the Sky Broke. 200 years ago, humanity tried to correct the sun. They called it the Helios Array, designed to stabilize solar radiation and reinforce Earth's weakening magnetosphere. Climate collapse had already begun. Solar activity was increasing in unpredictable cycles. Governments merged resources in a final act of technological optimism. Humanity would stabilize it. The array activated on June 17th. 3 days later, the sky broke. A solar superflare erupted from the sun's surface. Under natural conditions, Earth's magnetic field would have absorbed much of the impact. But Helios was not designed for a superflare of that magnitude. Instead of dispersing the radiation, the orbital mirrors amplified it. Magnetic regulators overloaded. The array refracted high-energy radiation toward the atmosphere. Within hours, the ozone layer began to fragment. Within weeks, it was gone. The sky shifted from blue to a violent, shimmering violet. UVC radiation reached the surface unimpeded. Crops failed. Skin blistered in seconds. DNA unraveled. Human civilization retreated underground. Official history called it a solar catastrophe. Unofficially, in encrypted archives, it was labeled Human Error Event Zero. Eden 12 was carved into ancient bedrock where glaciers once ruled. 2.7 kilometers beneath the dead surface, it housed 30,000 descendants. Clara Vale had grown up believing the sun was a predator. The first thing children learned was this: the sun is not light. The sun is death. Artificial illumination in Eden 12 mimicked pre-collapse sunlight with careful restraint. No ultraviolet, no spectrum extremes, just enough warmth. Clara often wondered what real sunlight felt like. She was 17 and assigned to Maintenance Sector C, Radiation Containment Diagnostics. The irony was not lost on her. She spent her days monitoring the very force that had ended the world. The upper transit shafts were relics, vertical arteries that once connected to surface access points. They were sealed generations ago, but the radiation buffers remained active, more out of ritual than necessity. Solar volatility had increased in recent years. Not enough to breach kilometers of rock, but enough to keep the Directorate uneasy. The Directorate governed Eden 12 with a single principle: genetic stability ensured survival. Every birth was sequenced, every deviation corrected. Mutation was synonymous with extinction. Clara had passed every screening since infancy, until the day the buffer flickered. The alarm did not begin as a scream. It started as a tremor in the lights. A pulse too subtle for most to notice. Clara noticed. She was recalibrating a sensor grid when the console's radiation index spiked beyond acceptable variance. Containment fluctuation detected in upper shaft 3, the automated system announced. Upper shaft 3 connected to an abandoned surface lock. That was impossible. Diagnostic error, one technician muttered. Then the numbers doubled. Clara ran. The shaft chamber was cylindrical, reinforced with layered shielding panels. At its apex, nearly a kilometer above, sat the first of many sealed hatches leading to the surface. A hairline fracture had formed in the outer radiation buffer, likely stress from cumulative solar storms interacting with residual Helios debris still orbiting above Earth. Through that fracture, a concentrated beam of ultraviolet radiation pierced downward. It was thin, precise, deadly. "Seal it," someone shouted. Technicians scrambled to activate emergency shutters. Radiation monitors wailed. A young engineer slipped near the control panel. The edge of the beam grazed his arm. His skin blistered instantly, cells rupturing under direct UVC exposure. He screamed. Clara didn't think. She lunged through the edge of the light, grabbed him, and dragged him backward. The beam enveloped her left arm. She expected agony. There was none. The world narrowed into brilliance. Her sleeve disintegrated into ash. The smell of burned fabric filled the chamber. But her skin did not char. It shimmered. The light did not consume her. It sank into her. Emergency shutters slammed shut, severing the beam. Darkness reclaimed the shaft. The engineer lay convulsing. Medical drones descended. Clara stared at her arm. No burns, no lesions. Instead, beneath her skin, something faintly luminescent pulsed as if microscopic constellations had awakened in her blood. Isolation followed within the hour. Dr. Elias Rowan, head of genetic integrity, entered the containment room with clinical restraint. "You were exposed for approximately 6 seconds, he said. "That's bad?" Clara asked. "Lethal. He turned the tablet toward her. Her radiation absorption levels exceeded fatal thresholds by nearly 300%, yet scans showed no cellular necrosis, no DNA fragmentation. Instead, your telomeres have lengthened, Rowan said quietly. That only happens during early development, or under aggressive regenerative activation. Her melanocytes' pigment cells had altered structure. They now contained lattice-like protein clusters capable of absorbing high-energy photons and redistributing their energy as chemical fuel. Her mitochondria exhibited repair cycles previously documented only in extremophile microorganisms. More disturbingly, her genome contained a dormant sequence long classified as defunct, a synthetic adaptive strand flagged in ancient Eden archives. Project Aurora. 200 years ago, a faction of scientists had attempted to engineer radiation-resilient humans. It was a desperate contingency. If the surface could not be shielded, perhaps humanity could adapt. The project was terminated. Records claimed the genetic line was eliminated. It had not been. The sequence had persisted recessive, fragmented, diluted across generations within controlled breeding pools. Until Clara. You're not sick, Rowan told her. Then what am I? He hesitated. Proof that Helios was not our only mistake. The directorate convened an emergency council. Clara stood in the center of a circular chamber carved from stone older than civilization. 12 officials observed her, faces projected across the curved wall. Clara Vale, the chairwoman, began. Your genome contains unauthorized synthetic material. I didn't authorize anything. Murmurs. Dr. Rowan intervened. The material predates her birth by centuries. The chairwoman's eyes narrowed. Project Aurora was erased. Not completely, Rowan said. Silence thickened. If the public learned that Eden's founders had experimented with human evolution and failed, the directorate's moral authority would fracture. You represent both risk and opportunity, the chairwoman continued. Surface conditions remain extreme. However, your physiology suggests compatibility. Compatibility with what? Clara asked. The sun. The word hung heavy. You want to study me, she said. We want to secure humanity's future. And if studying isn't enough? The chairwoman did not answer. Clara understood. In Eden 12, survival justified anything. That night, sleep eluded her. Her skin felt warm, not feverish but energized. When she closed her eyes, she saw light, not artificial panels. Something wilder, something calling. She accessed maintenance routes and climbed toward upper shaft 3. Security had increased, but she knew blind spots in surveillance coverage. At the final sealed hatch, warning sigils glowed red. Extreme radiation. Surface terminal. She placed her bare hand against the metal. For 200 years, humanity had hidden from a mistake of its own making. But what if the mistake had forced evolution instead of extinction? She overrode the lock. The hatch opened a fraction. Light flooded in raw, unfiltered, overwhelming. Not the sterile white of Eden's panels. This light had texture. Weight. It struck her face. Her skin ignited not in flame, but in radiance. Energy surged through her veins like liquid fire. Her vision adjusted. The sky above was deep violet, streaked with shimmering auroral currents, remnants of magnetospheric instability and Helios debris, still scattering charged particles. The surface was not ash. Black vegetation stretched across the landscape, tall structures resembling glass-grown trees, their surfaces absorbing radiation instead of reflecting it. The air shimmered with heat and ionization. And in the distance, figures stood among the obsidian growth, humanoid, unshielded, watching her, not collapsing, not burning, watching. Clara stepped fully into the light. Behind her, Eden 12, these alarms erupted in panic chorus. Ahead of her, the world humanity had condemned as dead breathed in ultraviolet silence. The Helios array had tried to tame the sun. Instead, it had rewritten the earth. And Clara Vale was no longer certain which version of humanity had survived.